did you guys write anything on your first album?
Yes, there was what there, I think. Yeah, I Adore Me and More.
Okay.
Part of Sex You Up. We have credits on Sex You Up for writers too. He didn't produce and write the entire record. There was lyrics and melodies and things that we added. We were writing songs. All for Love we wrote. I Adore we wrote. Gosh, I can't think of all the songs, but yeah, I'd say about half of that album was songs that we wrote.
Okay. Did you wish you had more time to do the album?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We put that single out and it took off so big that they told us that we had 2 weeks to finish an album.
2 weeks?
2 weeks we finished. Half of those songs on that record are demos. Like go in, throw something down. I promise, Cassandra was like, I was in tears, man, because they were going to take this and use it. And I said, I was told these were scratch vocals. And I was told that this is what was going to be put on here. And Cassandra's like, that's exactly what it is, sweetie. We're going to have you come back in and we're going to have you re-sing the song. And that never happened. But I'm not complaining. You know, maybe they know better than us, but that was pretty scary because we wrote our version to what we had and then Freeze wrote his version. We used a hook that was his and then we wrote verses for it and he wrote verses for it. He was late to the studio that night. So Cassandra said, get in there and do y'all's before he gets here. So we went in there and ours was the Hey Beautiful Lady one. And so, yeah, it's funny because both of those records we get royalties from and they're both circulating, both of those records. Wow. So eventually I had to just combine the Hey Beautiful Lady version with the first verse and then the second from the other. So yeah, it's kind of confusing, but it was a fun time. 2 weeks, man.
Wow. I mean, as I said, when you have a very hot record, people are then looking at what's next. And as I said, you with the New Jack City soundtrack blowing up, you then need to put your own stuff out because people are looking for. And I think what you guys did have that sort of helped us also was the New Kids on the Block effect, because it's always impressive when R&B is sung by non-blacks, because you are able to reach a wider demographic and sell a lot more records. You know, New Kids outsold New Edition, even though New Edition.
I mean, Please Don't Go Girl, but before Please Don't Go Girl was Is This the End, which was New Edition, and they're basically the same song.
Yeah,
they're basically the same song. To me, the melodies are like way close. Is this the end?
Yeah.
I'm just getting over, by the way. I'm pretty positive I had COVID. Me and my whole family were really sick, and this is just my second day of being back in the land of the living. So I'm still raspy and a little dingy.
No, it's fine, and I appreciate the fact that you stayed in and stuff. And the first album, you guys sell over 10 million worldwide and stuff, and then you have to come back and do the sophomore album. And in any circle, especially in the mid-90s, there was a shift in a way with the music. Vocally, the vocals leads weren't as popular as the actual production. It was very much producer centric. How did you find going back in the studio, coming out with your second album, and not see it have the effect that your first album had?
We didn't know what to do. We felt a shift in music changing. Things were getting harder. Cube was doing his stuff. Friday had been out, I think.
Yeah, and, West Coast and the whole Death Row records and stuff. Yeah.
We loved that music. That's what we grew up listening to. All of the stuff that we were in the middle of was what we listened to. The bad thing or what we should have been more careful about, because we went from Sex You Up to I Adore to All for Love. And All for Love to me is about as pop of a record as it. Like, I hated singing that song for years. I love it now because I've sampled Ohio Players and put it in there. Thick how it sounds. It's a lot more hip hop, but I just thought that song is too pop. I felt the label wanted to dumb us down a little bit. Like there was singing that we wanted to do that I wanted to do, that they had to tell me that, you know, we don't need all the riffs, just sing straight notes. And it was because they were trying to make us pop. But then when pop started going left, they wanted us to have Ice Cube direct our video for Time and Chance and go, you know, go out in the middle of gangland.
Yeah, I mean, it was a challenging. It was quite fast paced the way the '90s really changed. I mean, you had on one side the girl groups like Jade and SWV and Brownstone, you know, really strong vocals with the production, and then you had Boys to Men who went from New Jack. Then they did more adult contemporary type of music with Face and Jimmy and Terry, and they just stayed in that lane. And then you had Jodeci that were in a particular lane with Blackstreet and stuff, which they always started there and they continued to stay there. And then I guess for you guys, like as well as All for One and UNMV, it's almost as if, okay, music is shifting. Where do we fit in? And I don't think Giant and unfortunately Giant itself, they sort of got merged and absorbed, so they really went around to support you guys. Did you feel the label wasn't as on board as they did in the first album?
Yeah, I feel like that first record did what it did because our very first single out of the box was a freak hit. It was a smash. Yeah, you know. So like they call it a viral record now, I guess. So it kind of promoted it. Basically, what promoted that song was New Jack City, and how can you lose with a budget? You know, they're putting a budget behind that movie.
Yeah.
And if the hottest or a very hot single, we just thought we were an album cut. We were just happy to be on the record with these guys because we were huge fans. Radio it up and started playing it. I loved it. Even the changes in music that were happening, I was loving it, but I was still naive. I didn't know which way it was is it going to go this way and stay? Or is it going to go this way and stay? Or are we just having fun and just, I wanted to prove to myself and to anyone that questioned me, because most people considered me white. I'm actually Native American. I'm Choctaw. Don't know if any that, but I'm a literal citizen of Choctaw Nation. And so I felt like I wanted to show talent because we were kind of dumbed down on that first record. So DJ Pooh came in, who did Ice Cube stuff. And in my opinion, that's some of the best stuff we did too. There were some really cool records in there, but we were doing really R&B stuff, really hip hop stuff. And then somewhere in the record, you're hearing really pop stuff. I think the mistake with us was it was just too eclectic. We needed to sound and kind of mesh them together, which is what Sex You Up and All for Love were, in my opinion. All for Love was very pop melodies on top of hip hop beats and, you know, like R&B tracks and songs. But it didn't work for everything. And we kind of got lost in the mix because that second record, they wanted to just throw it out and see if it stuck.
Yeah. You
know, there was Bush, we were going and doing shows and fans were saying, when's the album coming out? And we're like, it's out. There was a problem. And that's why we went to Sony after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, what was the difference? I mean, you signed with, well, you know, Tommy Mottola, the one, you know, a very powerful executive. What was it? Did you feel as if, yep, you're going to get the right backing? He's got Mariah, he's got Michael. He
used to. We would see this guy in restaurants, and we'd be with Irvin Azoff, and I remember him telling Irvin, you know, if I had them, they'd have sold double what they did, and they would just laugh, you know. So there was a competition there, and he would tell us when Irvin wasn't around, you know, you guys need to come over where I'm at. And he just kept saying that. It was just bad timing. And I'll tell you why. This is what's funny. Nobody knows this story, I don't think. Him and Mariah were having problems. Okay. Loved Mariah. And so he was heartbroken. We wrote that song, Remember When? Wasn't it Remember? I mean, think about this. They're splitting and he's trying to tell her, remember when. I could see forever in your eyes. He told us he'd have us sing that in a restaurant, a cappella. It sounded like crap because it's not one of those kind of songs. But he was just forever saying, that's the single, that's the single, that's the single. And we finally just realized that was, he was trying to talk to Mariah because we knew Mariah and went to her parties and stuff like that. And I think he was trying to send her a message. There was no talking him out of putting that first single out. And I think it was the wrong single to put out.
Yeah, he did seem to lose his magic after a while, before he left the label. Okay, so that's probably.
It was kind of sad, man, to be honest with you. I think that, I don't know what kind of relationship they had, but you could tell it rocked his world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I guess it's when you do have the head of a label saying that they're going to back you, but if their head isn't in the game, and they can cloud the judgment. When the album didn't do well, and Sony says, we're going to cut ties, what was that like for you?
Well, another thing that I don't think people know is, are you familiar with Ron Sweeney? Do you know who Ron Sweeney is?
No.
He's a very powerful guy in the music business. He's an attorney / a lot of other things, management. He's the one that worked on the original Eazy-E issues when Eazy was passing, like literally passing away, and Ron's trying to get his business sorted out before it happens. He's the one that signed us to the label. He was head of the R&B department at Sony when Tommy Mottola was there.
Yeah.
And literally, Ron, when we got signed and we were going up meeting everybody and talking about when we're going to release this record, Ron wasn't there. He was on vacation, we thought. He had already been, Tommy had already let him go. Or either that or Ron didn't want to come back, because the little word in the offices was Ron's not coming back. And then you just started seeing artists get dropped like flies. Like, I think they dropped every one that Ron signed.
Wow. And I think that's wow.
Those little decisions can change lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the way I look at things, honestly, is, our creator lets us go through things to teach us things. There is no such thing as a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I just don't. Yeah. But whatever happened then, and then my alcoholism, and then me getting sober, if I had gone and done a solo deal, would I have ever been an artist that anybody paid attention to? If I hadn't met my wife, would I be dead or still drunk? Just little decisions, but smart decisions, but when big decisions like that are left in the hands of people who are going through divorce or political things, it's just bad news for the artist.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
You know.